way or the other, you can be honest and say so. But I just want to know y'all's opinions. Nur, I want to start with you. Being a man in the field of radio, how do you feel about hearing comments like these from other male radio talk show hosts?
Well, of course, what he said was, to us, it was very hurtful and wrong. But you have to understand how Howard Stern began. It was drastic. He was different from at the time. And it's comments like that which made people watch his show. It's like, oh, what's he going to say this? What's he going to say that? It becomes, it makes spice, and people like spice,
People like spice.
People like spice. And, it's because of that is that he became his fame, it's just, for me, like, I didn't particularly hear the show, but, I'm sure for a very long time it was big, and,
What about you, Cortez? Being a radio talk show host yourself, how do you feel when you hear comments like these being made by other radio talk show hosts, male radio talk show hosts?
I mean, also, I feel what you were saying about, they made the show better, but at the same time, you shouldn't throw shots at people like that, especially not saying, like, what he said about being fat, black, he might not ever making another role again in the movie. And the same thing about Oprah, because you don't know, at the same time, you don't know what they're going through, so I won't put no opinion on another person saying, talking about them like that. They're just being honest, but at the same time, it may be been in his career, but I wouldn't do it that way. I mean, I wouldn't, he shouldn't, I mean, it ain't in my shoe to say he shouldn't do it that way, but at the same time, he could have went a better way about it. That's how I feel.
Sam, being a frequent guest here at WLJS on all the shows that we do here at the station, I know as a guest sometimes you feel that you have this rite of passage to kind of say what you want. And I know I'm not speaking just for you. I'm just saying for any guest, they feel that, well, this isn't my show, so no one's going to have to see me again, and don't worry about it. I'm just going to say what I want to say, because I'm never going to come back here anyway. And, and I know that. And believe me, we've had situations like that here at the station where we've had shows been canceled, taken off the air, fined because of things that guests come on here onto this microphone and say because they think, nobody's going to worry about it because I'm just a guest. Being a guest, how do you feel that, do you feel that it's important, some of the things that you say, and the fact that, okay, like for instance, let's just say that man from Birmingham who you said approached you that you did not know who he was.
Right.
Let's just say if you had made a comment like this on a station, on a show here,
right,
and he came up to you and said, hey, aren't you that guy who, and he saw your picture and everything, he said, aren't you that guy who said that thing about Gabourey Sidibe? How do you think that will make you feel? In your honest opinion, please, don't sugarcoat it.
I mean, if I made that comment, like, of course, I'm going to stand by my word and everything. Yeah, I feel like she needs to lose weight and all of that. But I mean, at the same time, as a guest though, we have responsibility too though, and so we have to like. Not only are we like promoting our skills, but I mean we also like helping out too. Because I mean, I don't want to like mess up your show or take your show off the air just because I said something wrong. I mean, no, it ain't about that though. Because I mean, we're guests, we honored to be here. So I mean, I would never do that. But I mean, yeah, somebody though came up to me though, I would stand by my word because I mean that's what I said. I'm not gonna say I said it on the radio, but I really mean no, because I mean that's not real. I mean it is what it is. You said what you had to say, so say it again right now. So I mean.
And that's another thing too. I always let people know that anything that I say on this show, I have said in the privacy of my own friends, my own family, my associates. See, a lot of people use the radio as or just media period, radio or television. They use that as their platform to vent, to get things off their chest. That's not how we run things here. Everything that I say here, I have said in the privacy of my own family. I've said to my friends. I just come on here and I say it again, and I say it too, and I say it just on a more public platform. There was also a controversial statement. I'm sure everybody probably remembers this. Back in April of 2007,
Okay.
when the nationally known radio talk show host Don Imus made the comment about the NCAA women's basketball championship team, the Rutgers University.
Yeah.
And so we can't go into full depth about the word that he said, but let me just give you a synopsis of the situation. There was an instance where there was a clip that he saw of the Rutgers University women's basketball team, and as there was a clip of the women running down the court, they were in the NCAA women's basketball championship game. They were playing Tennessee, and he referred to them as nappy-headed blank. And the blank, for anyone who is not sure what that word is, the blank, if you use your imagination, it is the derogatory term that they use for a loose woman or a loose person in general, and it starts with a W. And in some cases, it can start with an H. So it depends on how you spell it or who the person who's spelling it. And so that is the term that he used to refer to these women in the basketball team. They called them nappy-headed blank. And there was an outcry. It was an outcry of saying he was sexist, some saying he was racist, and some even saying that he should have been fired and taken off the air that day. Even though that he runs on a station that is not that's not ran by the FCC, if I'm not mistaken. I believe he's on satellite. He's on satellite radio, so he can, if I'm not mistaken, like I said, I'm not sure. I don't want to quote myself on that. I don't want to put out false information, but I believe he was on satellite radio. What do y'all think about that? If this is his show, he's making his own statements, his own opinions about whatever he wants to say. Do you feel that he has the right to say things like this, even though people may not agree with it?
Well, okay, well, if it's satellite, they can basically say anything they want to say.
Pretty much.
Okay. Well, in our country, we can say anything we want to say. Basically, we get the freedom of speech and everything. But when moral wise, no, that was not the right
morally speaking.
Yeah, he didn't. He should not have said that. But like I said though, he can say anything he wants to say, especially on his own radio station and everything.
That's true.
Mm-hmm.
So but yeah, I can get him that. But would I would say that no,
Why not?
Me personally, I would never.
That's not how his mama raised him. To make him.
Yeah, well, that's one thing. Yeah, and I would never want to get on the bad side of a black woman anyway. So, especially
and the
millions of
and the reason why Sam said that is because there were statements made by individuals in the media who mentioned that this comment was racist because the majority of the women on this team, if not, I don't think it was all of them, but the majority of the women on this basketball team of that which he was referring to were African American.
Yeah,
and the term nappy came, as far as I'm concerned, it was based in the African American community to describe an individual whose hair was very curly and what we consider to be not nice hair or good hair. And so that's why people were saying that the comment was racist. And they said the comment was sexist because he used that derogatory term to describe a loose woman or a loose individual. And so that's why they made that comment sexist. What about you, Nur? How do you feel about this comment that Don Imus made, being a man working in the field of radio?
Well, everyone... Well, for us working here on run by the FCC, we have to be censored and everything. And of course, he was on the satellite where he can say whatever he wants.
Mm-hmm.
And I know from the past that this radio host in general had had, well, you can say a potty mouth. But, I mean, again, this goes to our morals, like he said before. You know, it was rude. He shouldn't have said it at all. I guess those type of people who don't actually care into which what people think about them. You know, they're more loose in a way, and you know, and because of that, he became famous. He's become more large for controversy. And I believe, you know, me being as a person, I would never ever say that. Not even, you know, in the back of my head.
In the back of your head.
I would never even think that.
Well, I think this is a good thing to discuss. Does raunchy radio make money? And the reason why I asked that is because I want y'all to take a listen to this. The entire listening audience out there, I want you to take a listen to this. Rush Limbaugh, everyone, is the highest paid male radio talk show host in this country. The Rush Limbaugh Show is the most listened talk to show in America, attracting over 15 million listeners a week and is broadcast in over 600 stations nationwide. The Washington Post reported in 2008, Rush Limbaugh signed an 8-year contract with Clear Channel Communications, that is the parent company for which his show runs under. That contract, everybody, is reported to have been worth $400 million. And the Washington Post also reports that the worth of Limbaugh's contract is the second highest in radio history, coming just behind Howard Stern when he signed his contract with Sirius Satellite Radio, worth $500 million. That's a lot of money, you guys.
Yeah, it is. And also I wanted to go over to, is this because he's saying whatever he wanted to say on the air, he getting these views, or is it because of another reason? So that's a lot of views. Like, that's a lot of,
Well,
like, cause it's some you gotta do something to get that much. That's a lot.
And Howard Stern, that's $500 million.
That's a lot of money.
Yeah.
You know, and
That's almost up there with Oprah.
Yeah.
And him and Oprah are two totally different styles,
Yeah, right.
of which they go about reaching out to their audience.
Yeah.
So where does all this money coming from? Where and why do y'all think people are so interested in hearing, I guess I can put it plain and say garbage like this, and these people are getting rich off of this?
I say because people, they don't like it, but they feed into it, so they got no choice but to listen to it because they want to know what he's talking about. I think so. I think so. It's not good. They don't want to hear it, but at the same time, by you not wanting to do something else, so you feed into it. So as you feed into it, you got to think about how many people feed into it as with you. And that's a lot of people. And that's making a lot of money over it.
Well, Nurin Cortez, let me ask you this. Let's just say if we had a scenario of which they say, okay, you can be this kind of talk show host, radio talk show host, and make this kind of money, or you can be this kind of radio talk show host and make this kind of money. Let's just say if you had to be the raunchy radio talk show host, and you can make $400 to $500 million, or you could be the talk show host who's more reserved. You're more, peaceful and loving, and you want to spread a message of love and compassion on your show, and you don't make as much. Would you sell your soul to be the raunchy radio host who can make half $500 million? And I'm serious, and I don't want you to feel that you can't answer that question.
Oh no, I'm glad you asked me that question
because believe me, I have
comfortable.
That question has to come through my head every single day.
It's something to think about because I think about the same thing. I'll say no because I got to be comfortable with myself. And I'm not comfortable with myself if I'm doing something I know that's not me. You'll never be happy. Like I would never be happy because I'm doing something that's not me. But at the same time, I can do this and be myself, and and build on it, and I can get to the point that he's at now.
To making that happen.
Yeah, to make that happen. Yeah, there's many ways around it, and I would go that way. I'll stay my same person. I wouldn't change. Another thing, I'm not gonna say it's gonna be easy because you're gonna think about that.
Oh yeah, 500
million. You're gonna think we get like, oh no,
that's a lot of money.
It's a lot of money, but at the same time, when you come to reality, you're gonna be like, no, I can't do it. I gotta be myself. And at the end of the day, it's just you. You and God at the end of the day. So you gotta live with yourself. So I would say no. I just take that as I got right there at that moment, and I build on top of it, as my career go on.
What about you, Nerve, working in this world of radio and being a broadcaster here? How would you feel if somebody said,